Hello art beaters, Becky here for artbeats.com, and I've got a brand new video for you today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make beaded wire wrapped frame earrings. So we are going to be wire wrapping the beads in the center of the frame to make some really cool patterns with the beads, and it's just a fun texture to add to earrings, as a necklace, pendant, all sorts of things. So let's dive into this really fun technique. Today I'm going to show you how to make something like our chrysalis earrings. These earrings are available as a tutorial on our website artbeats.com, and it's a pretty simple technique that involves coiling wire around the frames to attach the beads in these fun kind of shapes. And you can shape these beads however you want, into different curves, swirls, or straight lines even. And it's a really simple technique, and you only need a few things to get started. I've got some fun earring frames here. These frames have the ear wire built right in. You could always work with something like this where it's like a pendant, like an open frame pendant or charm. It'll work with a lot of different fun shapes. These are oval, these are a little bit more rounded drop shape. I've also got some beads I'll be working with, some fire polished beads in 4mm and 6mm sizes, and I've also got 24 gauge craft wire. This is a really good gauge for flexible working. It's going to coil around the edges of this piece really easily. For this example, I'm just going to do straight color blocked lines of beads. To start, I'm going to coil the end of my wire to one side of this earring frame. So I'm just going to start and kind of bend my wire around that coil and then just coil it tightly, kind of keeping it close to the other wires so the coil stays nice and neat. And again, this 24 gauge wire is pretty easy to manipulate just with your fingers. I like to do about 3 or 4 coils to start, and you can use chain nose pliers to kind of press everything down, tighten everything up, make it even more secure. I'm going to end this coil to the back of the ear wire and kind of to the outside as well, so it's not in my way when I'm adding beads. And then I'm going to trim that tail. And tuck that end in with my pliers again. And again, just kind of scrunch everything up. Alright, so now I've got my wire where I'm ready to start adding beads. You're going to want to kind of gauge where you want to start, and keep in mind where your earlobe kind of fits on this too, so that's something to keep in mind. I think starting about halfway down would look really good, and I'm just going to do blocks of color here. So I'm going to start with my turquoise color here. I think I'm going to do maybe a little gradient where I start with the turquoise, do this lighter pink, and then do the darker pink at the bottom. So you're just kind of adding beads to your wire to fit into the space of that frame. So I've got 4 here. Looks like I could probably add about 3 or 4 more to fit in there. So let's add 3. See how that looks. Yep, that looks about perfect. So 7. And then to coil on this side, you just do the same. You wrap it around. I'm going to do it 3 or 4 times to match the other side, and that also keeps it a little more secure the more coils you do. I just scrunch this up, and I'm finishing the coil to the inside so I can add my next row right on. So I'm going to do about 3 rows of these. Let's do 2 rows of these, 2 rows of that, and then the rest here. So let's add another row here. You may find as you're working that you end up with little kinks in your wire. If you have nylon jaw pliers, you can kind of give those a nice straighten out so you can continue working with the wire easily. I've got my second row of beads in place and I'm just going to coil them. You can just kind of pull it through the opening of that hoop. Make sure they're tight in place. And with this one, you want to be careful. You can see when I move this up, it will widen this and that won't be able to close. So make sure that when your beads are in place, you have this closed and are checking that. You want that to be able to close. That's specific to a finding like this on a solid hoop or ring. If you're wire wrapping to that, you won't run into that issue. There we go. And because this wire is so flexible, you can kind of adjust with your fingers, and I'm going to pinch all of those coils close together. If you find your wraps are a little loose, you can use those chain nose pliers to kind of pinch them closer together by kind of just pushing on the edges there. There we go, second row in place. Third row is the 4mm pink beads, and we're just gonna wrap that in place, get our coils nice and tight. You really want to be pulling with a good amount of tension to get those coils nice and tight and close together. And again, you can shape all of these with your fingers. You could even curve them if you were going for more of a curved look. See how easy that is to kind of shape the wire to whatever direction you want. Same goes for straightening them out too. There we go, third row in place. You'll also notice that the more rows you add, the sturdier this process is going to get. When I was first adding my first row, it was a little loosey-goosey, but the more rows you add, it really strengthens the overall piece. All right, I've added all the rows I want to add. I think I'm just going to add one row of those bigger beads. I kind of like the open space there. And again, you can use your pliers to kind of pinch these coils tighter. You can also give them a gentle press, and that'll kind of keep them in place a little more on the edges of your frame. So just give them a little gentle press, and that'll keep everything in place. I've finished this coil to the back of my piece. I'm going to trim it with my little cutters here and tuck that wire in so it's not poking out and won't snag anything, and just giving it a little press. And there you go. Super easy technique. You can use any kinds of beads with this. As you can see, all kinds of different sizes works. Seed beads would look really cute too. Any kind of colors you want, and like I said before, you can shape them into curves. Fill those shapes however you want. It's a lot of fun. Once you know that simple technique, you can really have a lot of fun playing around with it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that this was helpful and inspiring to you. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment, and as always, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so you're the first to know when videos like this are out. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.